it's Maya. Welcome back to Resident Drinker. Today I'm going to give you a quick guide to rum. I wanted to do this because I thought it would be great to give you a few things just to know about rum in case you want to try it out, want to try some new different rums that perhaps you haven't tried, and this will just give you some really good, I think, background information to start with. Now, if you've drunk rum before, I would probably hazard a guess that you've had it as a rum and coke, which is great, but there is a lot more to rum and a lot more to explore. And I will come back to some of the different styles of rum and different styles of aging that I'm talking about in other videos, maybe with tasting, so you can see what the different rums taste like and we can compare them. So to get started, rum begins its life as sugarcane. So sugarcane is crushed and it has sugarcane juice, which then can be cooked down into molasses, which is then fermented and made into alcohol, which is rum. And rum is defined as a cane spirit. It is a spirit that is made from sugarcane. It can't be made from anything else and be called rum. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only way to make rum from molasses. You can actually use the sugarcane juice straight away to make rum, and that can be fermented. But now that rum is called something different. It's actually called rum agricole, and that is spelled R-H-U-M, agricole, which is A-G-R-I-C-O-L-E. I'll put a little annotation here if you like. And that rum comes from the first press of the sugarcane juice. So it's, if you want to kind of relate it to something, it would be a little bit like extra virgin olive oil. You can only use the first press of the sugarcane to make that rum. And it's a very distinctive style of rum and tastes very different from a molasses-based rum. And rum can be distilled in a couple of different ways as well, which also, I think, affects the taste. So you've got rum that is made in column stills, which are really huge, long vats, used to make vodka, can make any spirit effectively in a column still. And then there's pot stills, which are copper pot stills used to make the rum. These tend to be smaller, just in their size. They generally don't hold as much as column stills, and you have to distill in a slightly different way. But also it gives the rum a completely different flavour from a column distilled rum. So that's something to look for. If you're looking at rums and you see that something says it's column still, which it's unlikely to actually say that. It's much more likely to say that it's a pot still rum or copper pot distilled rum. Now that is a really interesting kind of flavour. May not be the best flavour to kind of start with because it's very robust, it's very heavy and full flavored rum from that. But certainly I would suggest try it. You know, it's great to have tried that and tried a column still, and then you can always compare the two and see what you like. Also, there are companies out there that blend the two, so they'll blend a column still and a pot still rum, so you kind of get the best of both worlds, I think. Moving on, so we've discussed it comes from cane, it can be made in two different ways, and it can be distilled in two different ways, which creates different flavors. The next thing is it can be aged in different ways as well. So you've got something called static aging, which means that the rum stays in its barrel and it doesn't move. So you've got rum in there, let's say for 8 years, 12 years, 14 years, up to 18 years. I mean, could go as long as you want to keep aging, you can keep aging it. The only thing that's going to happen is that you will lose what they call the angel share, which is as the alcohol evaporates over time, you will get less and less and less. Which is why when you look at rums that are aged, they tend to be more expensive. And this is the reason, is that you've sat and you've waited for that rum to be ready. It may have taken 12 years, so there's a cost attached to that. The next way of aging is called Solera, and this is a style that's mainly popular, I would say, not completely, it's used in other places, but you may have heard of it for sherry, for example, but it's actually used in rum as well, and it comes mainly from sort of Latin, Central American countries tend to age their rums in that way. And what that means simply is that you take, let's start with 3 different ages. I've got a 5, 8 and a 12. And I'm going to blend those different rums together to create one rum at the end. That is my Solera blend. So that is the simple kind of way of thinking of Solera. I can definitely go into more kind of depth about the different aging processes and stuff, but this video is just to kind of give you some interesting information that perhaps will help you when you go to buy a rum. And a fun story about rum is, again, if you've seen my 5 things about gin video, you'll know I spoke about the gunpowder test that they used to do for the naval strength gin. And a similar thing used to take place for rum, which was to check that its quality was as it should be. They would put gunpowder and pour the rum on top, and then obviously if the gunpowder lit, the rum was approved and was of good alcoholic strength. I hope that you have found some of these sort of bits of information useful. The main thing is just to try something new. When you're looking at labels, read them, see what information you can find out from there, because rum is a huge category and I will definitely revisit it. I would like to try some different styles of rums and sort of show you the differences as well. And I hope you've enjoyed this little segment, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers!